Most guys think attraction fades because relationships get old or she has kids. It doesn't. It fades because you stop doing the things that made her want you in the first place. And today, we're fixing that. We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's true. It's damn true. Happy Memorial Day, guys. When you're grilling tonight and drinking beers, pour one out for the brothers that never made it home, okay? If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Now, attraction doesn't die because life gets busy. It dies because you got comfortable and stopped being the guy she wanted in the first place. Today, we're getting into what actually keeps a woman attracted to you through the long haul. Kids, career changes, life transitions, all of it. By the end of this, you'll know exactly why most guys watch their relationships go flat after years together and what you can do about it starting today. So stay with me. So if you guys have been following the last couple of weeks, we've been going through Keep Your Bish, which is the third book in the Red Pill Guide series. And this book is for you either turned a failing relationship around and you want to make sure you never get to that point again, or you went through a breakup, you did the work, you came out better on the other side, now you're in a new relationship and you don't want to screw this relationship up, right? Like failure is not an option. And so we're up to chapter 8 now. If you guys haven't been following, after today's episode, go back and listen to the other ones. But we're up to chapter 8, which is all about dealing with changes in life. You know, like once you get into a long-term relationship over a long enough time period, everything's not smooth. Things happen, you know, deaths in the family, you get kids in the house, all sorts of different things happen that tend to cause the relationship to suffer. And it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to if you're prepared for it. Okay. So one of the first concepts in this chapter is that attraction is a scale. It's not something that you get once and you have forever, which is almost goes against the common, TikTok level or tweet level advice that you get from the red pill, which talks about genuine desire. Oh, I want a woman that has genuine desire for me. A woman that's like, if she had genuine desire for me, I wouldn't have to be like blah, 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 right? Like in the initial phases of the relationship, that's typically how things look. But the thing is that it's not static, okay? Attraction exists on a scale. And so in chapter 8, I break down the attraction scale, and it's a concept I first learned from a guy named Doc Love. Doc Love wrote a book years ago called The System, and he's the one that came up with the scale. At least I mean, he might have gotten it from someone else, but he's the first one I heard it from. And then I read How to Be a 3% Man. Corey Wayne has the same scale in his book. He basically got that from Doc Love. Well, I found that this is very, very much an accurate scale. Okay. So the way attraction works on this scale is it exists on a scale of 0 to 10. All right. And when you first meet a woman, if she has genuine, if she has enough attraction for you to give you her number or to agree to go on a date with you, her attraction level's around a 5 or 6. She still doesn't know you yet. Okay. But you're charming enough, you're handsome enough. She's going to give you a shot. Okay. Her attraction level's around a 5 or 6 when you first meet her. Then as you build rapport, you get to know her, you go on a date, you guys have fun and drinks and stuff like that. Her attraction level rises. Okay. It's not a static thing where she like immediately is infatuated with you. Now that does happen, but that's usually not what happens. Okay. So you slowly over time raise her attraction level. Now, if you follow my advice, let's say you guys are out dating and you guys follow my advice from Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18, you'll know that if as long as you play the game right, as long as you only see her once a week, as long as you give some space in between your interactions, because attraction grows in space, okay, by the 7th or 8th date on average, she's going to want exclusivity, okay, on average. So by that point, okay, her attraction level is probably already around, a 7 or 8. And usually 7 or 8 attraction level is where you guys are already having sex, okay? And that usually happens by the 2nd or 3rd date on average. If you do things the right way, okay, 2nd or 3rd date on average, you'll be having sex with her. Her attraction level's probably around 7 or 8, okay? But when she wants exclusivity, she's starting to get around the 9 or 10 range where she's starting to feel for you. She's starting to feel love for you, okay? That's where love exists, 9 or 10. Now, in a long-term relationship, if you're not paying attention, if you're just coasting, okay, because everyone's on their best behavior for the first 6 months to a year of relationship, but once you get past that, right, and you just start coasting, you think you got her already, you don't have to try anymore, her attraction level is going to start fading over time, okay? And once you get below a 5, you're done. You're done. She no longer sees you as her best possible hypergamous option. So your goal is to always stay above a 5. Okay. So if you're going to maintain a long-term relationship, you have to keep an eye on her attraction level and where it's at. And if it starts dipping, that's not when you have a discussion, because you can't negotiate desire. This is where you take the feedback and go, oh, I might have been slipping here. Where have I been slipping when it comes to setting the tone and leading the relationship? A part of setting the tone, leading the relationship means that you're still seducing her. You're still doing fun activities with her. You're not boring and miserable, right? Like you don't just go to work, come home, watch TV with her, go to sleep, maybe hanky panky, go to bed, right? You don't just do that every day, rinse, wash, repeat. You're actually keeping her guessing a little bit. One of the things I talk about in the new book, which we're not at the 8-minute mark, I can't mention it yet, but I could point at the picture here, right? The new book that's coming out this Friday, one of the things I talk about is switching things up, even in the bedroom. In the bedroom, you don't want to be doing the same thing. You don't want to be having sex with her in the same place every night, right? Like you want to periodically bang her on the kitchen table. Okay. You want to switch things up, because if she's always guessing, that's where dopamine gets spiked, right? Dopamine is the neurological chemical of wanting, right? A lot of people think it's the dopamine, it's the neurochemical of pleasure. It's not. It's the one that causes desire, right? It causes her to have anticipation for what you might be doing next. And you're always keeping her on her toes. She can't figure out what's going on. That's creating dopamine in her, which is keeping her addicted to you. You feel me, dog? Once you guys read we are at the 8-minute mark. Once you guys read Dicker Downright and you see what I'm trying to do in this book, you see like the NLP patterns I put in there. We are creating an addiction. We are trying to get her addicted to you. All right. Once she's addicted to you, it's hard quitting. It's hard quitting once you're addicted. Right. So you got to understand the attraction scale and be able to understand where she is on it so that you can navigate your courses correctly. Okay. By the way, guys, I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And as you're watching this, you'll notice that there is a like button down here somewhere. Click that like button, would you? All right, cool. Make sure you hit that bell too while you're at it. Getting comfortable is what kills things. Okay. Complacency is the enemy. Complacency and comfort are the enemy of long-term relationships. complacency and comfort. And that's what happens. We tend to get comfortable over time. We tend to start relaxing into a routine. We stop doing the things that got us to the show in the beginning, you know. And the thing is that a lot of guys, that's what they want, right? They want to be able to get to a place where they're comfortable. And so a lot of guys naturally slip into that. The problem is that it kills attraction over time. And then you wonder why she doesn't want to bang you as frequently. Like, well, you know, she still bangs me once a month if I'm lucky, right? But where was it in the beginning? You guys were banging every night, right? Sometimes multiple times a day. Okay, that's because attraction has been fading, that you've been falling down the scale. And a lot of that is because you let comfort slip into the relationship. The moment you stop being a challenge, okay, you basically become furniture in the relationship. She stops looking at you as a guy worth investing in, a guy worth pursuing herself. A lot of girls won't, a lot of women won't admit it, but they need to pursue the guy. Okay. Now, women will argue against this all the time. No, men are hunters. They need to chase or whatever, right? Like, no. Your job as the man is to get initial buy-in, right? Spike her emotions up enough to build interest. Okay. Then your job is to let her start pursuing you. And the way women do this, it's very subtle. Women are super, they are not obvious, right? they don't just come out and say things. They hint at things, right? Like they'll text you when you haven't heard from them in 3 days and with a meme or something, right? One thing that Nurse Chick will do, because we don't text all the time. I've set the tone that we are not chatterboxes on text. We just don't do that, right? But what I'll notice is that if I haven't heard from Nurse Chick in like 2 or 3 days, if I go and check my DMs on like TikTok or something, she sent me a funny little thing, just thinking of you kind of thing, right? That's her. That's her chasing. Okay. Right. And so then I just need to allow myself to be caught every once in a while. Okay. So that's how that works. Right. But the moment you stop being that challenge, you become furniture. She's not going to tell you what's happening, but that's what's happened. And a lot of reasons why she won't tell you this is because she doesn't quite understand why she's not attracted to you either. She just knows she's not that attracted to you. This is where like eventually it gets so bad, you get to the place where she goes, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Right. That's basically the kiss of death. FYI. That means that you've allowed dopamine to drop so much in her that she has no sexual attraction for you anymore. Right? She still respects you as a provider. She still has that oxytocin family love feeling, brotherly love type feeling, but she don't want to bang you anymore once you get to that point. And a lot of that's because you've allowed yourself to get too comfortable. Okay. You stop flirting, you stop teasing her, you stop caring about your physique and your goals, right? She lost interest in the guy that you turned into. Now you might say, well, I never changed. This is who I always am, right? I've always been the comfortable guy. I've always been this. Okay. Right? You were putting on a facade when you were first dating her of being the Casanova, being the player, being the attractive man. That was a mask. Your real self is lazy, and you are more interested in being comfortable than continuing to do what got you to the show in the first place. You are being who you are. It's just unattractive as hell. I just want you guys to think about that for a second. Okay. Now, a lot of the really terrible dating advice out there will say, just be yourself, right? Well, if we're being honest here, being yourself is the lazy, comfortable guy, which is unattractive as hell, right? So the whole idea of just be yourself is wonderful advice as long as you're getting the results that you want. But if you are unhappy in your relationship right now, you're not getting the relationship, or you're not getting the results that you want. Something has to change. It has to. You have to get back to being the guy that made her attracted in the first place. Okay. You have to make that guy who you are. You have to create an identity of that guy. Because once you have the identity of it, you believe it, right? Once you believe it, that you'll carry yourself that way. It doesn't work the other way around. Something to think about, okay? Now, what's one thing you used to do early in your relationship that you've completely stopped doing? Think about that for a second. Let me know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, drop a comment below. What's one thing that you used to do early on in the relationship that you've completely stopped doing? Think about that. Drop a comment. If just the act of dropping a comment will bring this into your awareness. Okay. And once it's into your awareness, you have something to work with. Okay. A big problem with our results in life is that we're operating subconsciously 95% of the time. It's the beliefs that you don't know you have that are killing you and killing your results. So in order to bring that to your awareness, sometimes you have to take these little exercises where you take a moment, stop, drop a comment, brings it to your awareness. Now you have something to work with, right? Now, one thing that I tell guys to do in the book is not to react, and I'm paraphrasing, but don't react when you feel her pull back, okay? When she starts getting short with you, delays texts, goes cold, that's a test. It's a test, okay? The second you start asking what's wrong, you actually end up failing the test, okay? Here's I talk about it a lot in the podcast, but in order for sexual tension, which creates attraction, right? I call it heat, healthy emotional anticipation and tension. In order for that to exist, you have to imagine it like a line that's tight, right? This is sexual tension in the relationship. That's where attraction lives, okay? Right? If you guys get too comfortable, the line starts going slack. So the comfort, the comfort's setting in. She's not feeling it. She's not feeling that dopamine anymore. So she instinctively will start pulling back and that will create tension in the relationship. The problem is that most of you guys you can't handle tension. You can't handle tension at all. It makes you uncomfortable. So you start chasing her. You start chasing her to try to figure out what's wrong. Let's talk about it, honey. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's communicate, right? When you are doing that, you're chasing her. It's validation seeking behavior. It's further causing attraction to erode. Okay. So instead of doing that, when she pulls back, pull back too a little bit. That will create that tension faster in a good way. Don't embrace the tension. Embrace it. Because without that tension, sex is going to dry up. Okay. So embrace that tension. Now, what I recommend guys do, right, is to stay calm. The calmest person in the relationship is going to win every time. Okay. And that's got to be you. That's got to be you. As the leader of the relationship, you have to be the one that has your wits about you. That's frame, right? So stay calm, keep your humor, focus on what you're doing. Her mood is not your emergency, okay? Now, you can ask her, don't be a jerk and cold yourself, right? You can ask her, hey, what's eating at you? But, if she doesn't want to talk about it, okay, cool, right? Okay, cool. Well, I got stuff to do, have a good day, right? Don't climb on her emotional roller coaster. She will eventually, once she's processed whatever, come seek validation from you. Maybe she will want to talk about it. Maybe it'll just go away and it'll be like nothing ever happened, right? Who cares? Her emotions are not your problem, okay? Don't climb on her emotional roller coaster. Her feelings aren't a problem for you to fix. They're just not, right? You have to be like the rock of Gibraltar, right? Her emotions are the waves crashing against the rocks of Gibraltar, and you are unmovable. Nothing shakes you. Nothing rattles you, okay? When you are visibly bothered by her emotions, she now either consciously or unconsciously realizes that she can now manipulate you with her emotions, and that instinctively makes her feel less secure in the relationship. And if she doesn't feel safe and secure in the relationship from an emotional standpoint, from a psychological standpoint, she's going to lose attraction for you. She has to feel safe and secure in the relationship. And a lot of guys think, well, I'm a big buff guy, I can protect her from lions and shit. That's not what it means. Okay. It's emotional safety, which to us sounds redonk, right? Like, we're dudes. Like, who cares? Emotional safety sounds women-y. Well, yeah, because they're women, right? They need to feel that emotional safety. A part of that emotional safety is knowing that you have your shit together and that her silly whamminess doesn't faze you. That makes her feel safe and secure in the relationship. That actually boosts her attraction to her, or to you rather. All right. Now, as we're talking about this stuff, you guys are going to realize that you've noticed some of this stuff in your relationships, right? You are realizing right now, as I'm talking about this, that you probably need this book and you haven't gotten it yet, right? When would now be a good time to get this book? But before you get this book, right, you'll also notice that a lot of these problems start in the bedroom. Well, I got a book for that too, and that's coming out Friday.
Have you ever had sex and honestly wondered, did she actually enjoy that? Or was she just going along with it? Because chances are she's had better and she remembers it. What if I told you there's a way to make sure you're the one she can't stop thinking about? Most guys think good sex is about stamina or size. It's not. The men women are genuinely obsessed with aren't the biggest or the longest lasting. They're the ones who know exactly what they're doing. They're not fumbling around hoping something works. They walk in with a plan. They read her body. They control the whole experience from the first move to the last. And when it's over, she's not thinking about sleep. That's not some rare natural talent. That's a skill set, and it can be learned. Dick Her Down Right is the no-nonsense manual that breaks down exactly how women's bodies and minds work during sex, how to take charge of the experience like you actually know what you're doing, and how to become the man she's telling her friends about. Not the guy she had an okay time with, the guy she keeps coming back to, the guy she'd do almost anything to keep happy because what he does to her is in a category by itself. Every technique, every approach, every psychological principle is laid out straight. No theory, no filler, just the real information that makes the difference between average and unforgettable. Dick Her Down Right drops on Amazon and Audible this June. Any man who wants to be better in bed and have any woman he's with completely hooked on him needs this book. Get it in June.
Indeed. By the way, I dropped a link in the chat here for a limited time only. You can get some autographed copies as well. If you guys are watching the live right now, I dropped it in the chat. There's a PayPal link. And if you guys are watching the replay, like 24 hours later, you can go back into the chat and get that link there. But I'm not going to be offering that after this evening, okay? And then the Wolfpack brothers, a lot of those guys have the links already, and they've already pre-ordered the autographed copies. I'm getting a shipment tomorrow, so the guys that paid yesterday, you guys are getting first dibs on those ones, and then I think I have another shipment coming in next week. So get those while the getting's good. Fatherhood in frame. When kids come in to the picture, a lot of guys turn into background characters in their own homes, right? They hand over authority to their wives and wonder why their wives stopped respecting them. Okay, like think about this for a second. If any of you guys have had kids, I see it a lot on Facebook. I see guys in the comments saying, well, once the kids come, the sex dries up and stuff like that. Yeah, and I always reply, I go, if you let it. If you let it. Yeah, that's what will happen if you let it, right? Because what happens? When kids come into the picture, you immediately go into protector provider mode, right? like up until kids, you're still sexy, attractive guy, right? You're still sexy, attractive guy. You guys are banging all the time. And then kids come in the picture. Now you're protector provider guy. Okay. The thing is that protector provider guy is the beta side of hypergamy. You're now leading with the beta side of hypergamy, which is not sexually attractive. You can look at it from neurochemicals. We've already mentioned dopamine, right? Dopamine is the alpha chemical. It's what makes her sexually attracted to you. If you don't like the terms alpha, just go sexually attracted, okay? And then beta is oxytocin. So you create this oxytocin feeling when you're a dad, right? She looks at you like a dad. Oh, he's such a good dad. Oh, I love him so much. That's oxytocin speaking. That's family love feeling. It's not sexually attractive. You understand? So when you go too far on the dad side of things, you stop being sexually attractive. Okay. Now, one of the brothers in Wolfpack, he has made significant strides in his relationship since he joined the pack. I want to say a year ago. I think he joined a year ago. Man, his relationship, like he'll still have little road bumps here and there, but the work never stops. So that's okay. But he's had significant changes, especially in the last, I would say 3 months. Last 3 months, just phenomenal. He keeps saying like, we're having sex like multiple days in a row. He goes, that hasn't happened in forever. You know, like, yeah, man, like this stuff works. But when he first joined the pack, one of his big problems was that he basically left the child rearing up to his wife. He wasn't leading that. And she was constantly in mom mode. And then she never wanted to have sex because she was always up in her head in mom mode. Right. So she would like, you know, and they were having problems putting their son to bed. I can't remember how old he is, but he's pretty young. You know, he's not, you know, he's still old enough to be causing problems with that. I think maybe 4, maybe 5 or something like that. Anyway, she was, in order to get him to bed, she was going into the bedroom and falling asleep with their son every night. Right. Which completely killed the sex life because she wasn't sleeping in the same bed as her husband now. And he was getting pissed at her for it. And so what we told him when he joined the pack was, you need to take charge of this interval, right? You need to start putting the kid to bed, start using your stern dad voice and be like, no, get back in bed. No, get back in bed, right? We're not doing this shit. We're not sleeping it. You know, we're not having slumber parties in the bedroom every fucking night because dad needs to get some pussy, right? You don't say that to the kid, obviously. Okay. Come on, work with me here, guys. So anyway, he took charge of that. He took that off his wife's plate so that she could get out of mom mode, right? You have to get her out of her head and into her body if you want to have good sex with her. Okay. If you want to have lots of filthy, disgusting, dirty sex with her, you got to get her out of her head. Okay. I talk about all the different ways to do that in Dick Her Down Right. It's wild. Okay. But a lot of women, a lot of guys think that getting their wife or their girlfriend sexually aroused works the same way as it does with men, which is like, we're an on switch, right? Boom. It's sexy time. Let's fucking go. Right. Women don't work that way. All right. And you think foreplay is diddling her bean a little bit 5 minutes before putting it in. It's not, right? She's still up in her head. She's spent all day, you know, being a mom all day, dealing with the kids' bullshit all day, dealing with like the other soccer moms and stuff, going to fucking mommy play date parties, dealing with their fucking toxic nonsense, right? She's up in her head all day about whatever bullshit she's dealing with. She's a career woman. Maybe, you know, like she had a shitty day at work. She's up in her head about all this stuff. Like women just can't turn that off by themselves. They will fucking ruminate about everything. They'll worry about everything. They'll be all up in their head. The last thing they're thinking about is getting their bean diddled, right? And then when you want to, you're going through the motions and she's just fucking checked out. She's like, all right, just take yours. I need to go to bed, right? Like she doesn't want it. And it's inherently not sexy, right? So when you're in that father space, a part of being the leader of the relationship is you need to take charge of this shit and get her out of her fucking mom brain and into her body. Okay. That will help a long way. All right. Let's take a look at these super chats here for a second before we continue on. Brother Nathan's in the house. Happy Monday. Good to see you, brother. Erkin says, good day, mates. Good day. Good day. Alex says, stop dating and doing things only as a couple, completely with the kids and no one to take them. But we both agree we don't like that. Yeah, dude. Like, okay, this is a big thing. With I often do with my one-on-one coaching clients is what a lot of them are like. I want to take her out, but you know, she gets all frustrated because she's got to find a sitter, and now all of a sudden this is a big deal for her, and now she starts panicking because now it's just one more thing for her to do. Take charge of that shit. Take charge of that shit. That's a part of setting the tone and leading the relationship. Find a fucking babysitter, make the plans, and then say, hey, we're going out Friday night. I got a sitter. Just completely take it off her plate. Okay. Now I'll tell you this. If you guys aren't regularly having sex right now, date nights probably won't fix that situation. Right. And that's the common advice. Well, we got to take her out on more date nights, right? What I find, especially guys that just joined the pack, one-on-one coaching clients and stuff like that, is they will try that. They will go out on dates. And then when they go to put the moves on their wife or their girlfriend, she don't want to have sex at the end. And then they're frustrated because they just took her out on a fucking date and she didn't put out. That's what we call a covert contract. Okay. So just adding dates by itself tends to be a covert contract for most guys. And then you just get frustrated because she's still not banging you. The reason why she doesn't want to bang you is because she's lost sexual attraction for you. So that means that in order for that to come back, you have to become sexually attractive again. A lot of that is with your behavior, right? Some of it's with a lot of you guys let yourselves go. You stop working out. You got fat, stuff like that. That's part of it. Okay. But a vast majority of it is your behavior. That's what Get Her to Fuck You Again is all about. It's about fixing your behavior so that you start setting the tone and leading the relationship, and then allowing her to relax into her feminine. Then she starts finding you sexually attractive again. Then date nights will start working again. Okay. But you can't jump ahead. You can't jump ahead. It doesn't work that way. It just fucking doesn't. In fact, I talk about it in Dick Her Down Right. A lot of Dick Her Down Right is assuming you guys are having regular sex already and you're just want to spice things up and make it even better. But I specifically say in the book, if you're not having sex right now, if she hasn't been fucking you, you need to read Get Her to Fuck You Again first before you can be good at fucking her. Okay. So get that book first. All right. By the way, guys, let's see here. We have a really long one here from Woody Riley, brother Woody Riley from Wolfpack. He says, good Memorial Day, brother. Off work. Gonna finish up my house projects. Mine used emotional safety as a lever for control and manipulation, though, because she was having an affair and working on her exit. I realize now, though, my part's in it. She would push and test and poke and prod until I would explode, then cry victim. Yeah. That when you get into your emotions like that, you're failing their shit test and you're operating in their frame. That's what they're instinctively trying to get you to do, right? They're instinctively trying to knock you off center, because the more you get knocked off center, the more that reinforces her justification for leaving you, right? So that's why a lot of your behavior is what I talk about and Get Her to Fuck You Again, right? Also, I mean, I talk about that stuff in Keep Your Bitch Too, which is, sort of more of the topic today. But once you get that stuff down, you get your frame right where she can't knock you off center. That's when the real emotional safety actually comes back, right? Let's see here. After going through the motions, talking myself out of some plates, doing the work on myself, I now realize it's all about how they feel in the moment. It's true. Space allows attraction to grow, and they will sit in your lap and show you their butthole if you follow the procedure. Trust me on this one, gentlemen. I partially did the work and followed my own set of programming on top of that. It didn't get better until I fully surrendered and did it to the point I was doing it for me and not for my ex or anyone else. Emotional anchoring is the key. You can't anchor yourself to your wife or girlfriend or whatever. You have to create a solid foundation for yourself. Absolutely true. And then Urkin says oxytocin, dopamine, sodium, magnesium, etc., etc. Chemistry is better than woo-woo. Urkin, I'm going to do an episode. It's going to fucking blow your mind, bro. It's going to blow your mind. And then you're going to fully embrace the woo-woo. All right. Trust me on this one. It's going to happen, bro. You're going to come around. You're going to come around, and then you're going to sit in Indian style, and you're going to do this shit, and you're going to float. It's going to be fucking wild, bro. I'm telling you. Answer Pete says, hey, all. Good to see you, brother. All right. Where the fuck are we? We are, oh, by the way, guys, consider sending a super chat. If you're getting value from these episodes, do consider sending super chats. You know, there are ads on this channel, but they don't pay for shit. Okay. Oh God. Okay. The financial foundation, foundation no one talks about. Now, last Thursday, we had our pack hangout. We had our Wolfpack hangout, and we have a new brother that joined last week, and my man showed up for the call on Thursday and was talking about his situation. And one of the things that became immediately clear to me, just listening to how he's talking, listening to the, he had a little, like, you could hear the fear in his voice a little bit, the hesitation. You can hear the anxiety. You can see the tension in his face and stuff like that. If you guys just pay attention to people, their body language and tone tells you everything. It tells you everything you need to know. And women are naturally perceptive of this. Like 75% of women can read, can have sound off and know exactly what's happening in a situation just by body language and facial expressions alone. Women are just, they're natural. Men suck at it. Like the average dude does have no fucking clue. Right. We had another brother, before I get to this guy's story, we had another brother in Wolfpack that was talking about his situation. And I could just tell that he didn't even believe the bullshit he was saying, you know? And so like on the call, I didn't want to call him out for other brothers, you know, cause this is one of those things where like, I'll DM you in private, you know, or I'm like, bro, I can tell you're full of it, you know? And so this guy the way he was talking, you could just tell he wasn't believing what he was saying. And so I reached out to him. I was like, man, I can hear it in your voice, bro. I can hear it. You don't even believe what you're saying right now. You have some serious thinking to do, you know? But going back to this other guy, this new guy, you could tell that one of his biggest problems in his relationship is he's worried about work. He's worried about his job, and he's worried about possibly losing his job. That's what I picked up from his tonality and his body language and stuff like that. He's got a very high demanding job right now. He was invited in to take over this role and turn this company around. And this last couple months hasn't gone well for the company. And so he's just under a tremendous amount of stress, and that's coming out in his relationship. Right. And so one of the things that I realized is that I too have been in that position. And it's because of financial instability. Now, you know, a lot of guys, you know, in the space think women only care about money. The thing is, when you fully believe that, money's going to be a big burden on your back in a relationship. For one, it's going to be a tremendous burden in your relationship because you think that's what's keeping the relationship together, which is sad. You know, it's sad to think that she doesn't really love you. She only loves your money, you know? And the thing is, a lot of guys believe that because they lead with the money, right? But a big point of stress for me years ago was that I never really had financial security. I needed this job. If I didn't have this job, I couldn't pay my bills. And if I can't pay my bills, we might go homeless, right? This is even like, you know, this is even logical thinking. This is like reptilian brain, you know, like you need food, shelter, water, you know, survival type stuff. That's giving you these emotions, right? It's instinct. And so when you when you have a job and it's not going well and you don't have any other cushion, you don't have any other sources of income, you don't have a nest egg or whatever to fall back on, you have no security, you have no safety net. And that causes a tremendous amount of stress, especially if your girl doesn't work for whatever reason. Maybe she's a stay-at-home mom or something like that. And so for years, after my now ex-wife became a stay-at-home mom, I was the only one working. I was not great with money at the time. I wasn't like, I've always, not been in a ton of debt, and I've always paid my stuff back. I've always had a good credit score, right? But I also didn't have any savings. And so like if I lost a job, it was like, oh shit, the world's falling down, right? If I thought that I might screw up at work, like that caused me to panic and do all this stuff, right? I'm only 25 years old, okay? All this gray hair is just me stressing out over work years ago, okay? Now, what changed that was getting my finances in order. Getting my finances in order and start building up a nest egg and eventually developing a fuck you fund so that if shit does hit the fan, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I got this fucking sweet ass fuck you money that I don't have to worry about this stuff. Once you can get yourself to that level, you won't worry about work so much, and it won't be pressure on you, and it won't come out into your relationship. So it behooves you to get your finances in order, not for your wife, not so that she has more money, so that you have less stress. Okay. Now I learned how to do that from Dave Ramsey, and then Tony Robbins. Okay. So I read 2 books on this subject, and they're both identical. Like it literally, Tony Robbins ripped off Dave Ramsey with this plan. He just took out all of the Christian talking points and stuff like that. And then he made a couple of changes, like how to allocate funds or whatever, but it's essentially the same 7-step model that Dave Ramsey talks about, the baby steps, right? I wrote them all down in Everything I Wish I Knew when I was 18. But essentially, I took out one of Dave's baby steps, though. I fundamentally don't believe in it. One of Dave's baby steps is to, once you get your finances right, to start saving money for your kids so that you can put your kids through college. I personally believe that your kids won't value the education unless they pay for it themselves. People, in order to feel invested in something, they need to have some kind of skin in the game. And if you remove all the skin in the game for your kids, they won't be invested enough in it. That's my personal belief. And so I don't teach that in Everything I Wish I Knew when I was 18. But for you, for this conversation, getting that nest egg and building up at least 6 months worth of emergency fund, so that if you do lose your job, you have a 6-month runway to find another job. That will give you so much peace of mind. It will reduce so much stress in your life just doing that. Okay. So I highly recommend that. If you like my books, get Everything I Wish I Knew when I was 18. If you fucking hate my books, which I don't know why you would, they're fucking awesome. But if read Total Money Makeover. If you don't like the Christian stuff, read Money Mastering the Game by Tony Robbins. All 3 of these books teach the same model, and it's so simple. It goes back to the early 1900s. There was a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. The Richest Man in Babylon. I think it came out in the 20s. It was all about just 10% is yours to keep. So as soon as you get money in, before you pay bills, you put 10% away in your nest egg. And then you pay your bills. Okay. That's the whole idea of paying yourself first that rich people always talk about, that poor people never do. They pay their bills first, and then whatever's left over, they try to save. The funny thing is that if you do that, there's almost never any money to save. Never. It's weird how that works. But if you take 10% out, you'll never miss it. And you always have enough for your bills still. And life works out great. And then, if shit hits the fan, you're like, oh, fuck, I have all this money over here. How'd that happen? Right? Okay. It's so simple. It's so simple. Most of you won't even do it. I had one of our brothers a couple of months ago. We were in the Wolfpack hangout, and we were talking about this specific thing. I could hear it in his voice. He's buying a new house, and he's talking about how stressful it is. Things are going to be tight with this new house. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I told him, I go, when money comes in, take 10% out, then pay your bills, and everything will work out. You won't even miss that 10%. Just start doing that. Start with your next paycheck. Start doing that, and you'll find, and just like, it doesn't take very long at all. At least it doesn't feel like it takes long at all. Okay. Especially if you do it and don't think about it. Put it away. Don't think about it. The more you do that, when you finally do think about it and go and look at it, you're going, oh fuck, I have $10,000 in there, right? You'll eventually have so much money in there that you'll go, oh crap, you know, it's wild. It's wild. When I first started doing that, Total Money Maker completely changed my life. Completely changed my life. I highly recommend that book. I cannot say enough how great that book is. It really made me start looking at like everything I have around my house. Like this used to be money. You go look in your garage tomorrow. Go look in your garage tomorrow. How much shit are still in boxes from the last time you moved that you haven't touched in years? All of that used to be money. And when you have that realization, you realize that a lot of the impulse buys you make, you don't fucking need. You weren't going to use it anyway. Now, like if I have an impulse to buy something, I'm like, will I use this? Will I actually get use out of this? Or am I going to eventually put it on the shelf and never use it again? Like I have this conversation with myself. And if I am honest with myself and I go, you will never touch this after you get it in the mail and the dopamine, the serotonin wear off, you know, that you're going to be looking for something else. Right. So then I just won't buy it. You don't fucking need it. And I won't buy it. I try to only buy stuff that I absolutely will use and get value out of now. Something to think about, but at least 10%. By the way, guys, I did mention Wolfpack several times. And as I talk about Wolfpack and the brothers in there and stuff like that, you'll probably realize that you're doing all this stuff alone and you don't have to. Guys that work together usually get results much faster. Bear Club? Not anymore.
Fix what's broken. You lead like a man again. Too sweet. No pity, no therapy. Just fire, just flame. Cold bed, broken home, midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit 24/7, brothers locked in steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack, we don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack, drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
For the love of God, too sweet me. Dar Fitness sent $5,000 super chat, and he says, sounds like misogyny. That's right. Hold on. Where is this at?
Misogyny.
Yes. That's what we teach on this channel is misogyny. Oh, man. All right. Where was I going like that? Oh, Wolfpack, right? Wolfpack. All right. The reason why that, like, when you get together with other guys that have been doing this stuff, you can swap notes with, why it works much faster is because you have all sorts of other guys that have been through what you've been through, are going through what you're going through. We have guys from on all different levels, and you just have unlimited resources 24/7 in Telegram to ask questions, to go, hey man, I'm dealing with this right now. There's always someone in the pack that's either been there or is currently going through it. You don't have to do it alone. And once you have a group of people behind you, you just build up so much more momentum in getting results much quicker. It's only $10 a month, brother. Life transitions will test your center. Okay. If you are in a relationship long enough, okay, in a long enough timeline, shit's going to happen, right? Empty nest. You know, a lot of women they've built up an identity over 18 years. Okay. Repetition, constant repetition creates an identity of mom. I'm mom. I take care of my babies, right? I take care of my babies. It's way harder. I think it's way harder when children move on for women than it is for guys. It's way harder. Like for guys, by the time, like, I think the reason why teenagers are fucking assholes is so that you want to get them to get the fuck out. Right? That's why we are designed to, when we're teenagers, to think we fucking know everything, to get into trouble, do all this stupid shit. So our parents are like, you know what? Fuck off. Fuck off. Well, that comes much easier for dads than it does for moms. Moms have built up this identity of mom. Like, I'm mom. I'm a mommy. I'm a mommy. What am I going to do? My babies are flying the nest and stuff like that. They start fucking crying all the time. They start getting emotional, right? That shit happens, okay? That can impact a relationship if you let it. Menopause comes in. For you guys that are, you know, in their 50s now, you know, maybe your 60s, your wives are starting to go through the change, and her chemicals in her body are changing. It's causing her to have lower libido. It's causing her to have hot flashes, causing her to be uncomfortable. It's causing her to be moody and shit, right? Various health issues. One of our brothers in Wolfpack, his insurance company won't pay for the medicine he needs, the anti-rejection drugs that he needs, because he had kidney transplants years ago. And so they put him on an insurance approved medicine that is just fucking with his body. He is laid up right now. He can't even fucking function. Like, that kind of shit will come up. These seasons will all hit, okay? And each one will test whether you can adapt without losing who you are, right? This stuff will test your frame more than anything. It's why building up a strong frame is so paramount. It's so paramount to build up your mental resilience, to be able to think clearly through things and navigate through them, okay? And it's hard. It's hard for a lot of guys. That takes a lot of effort to work on what's up here. This is why Friday's episodes are the most important episodes of the week, because we are working what's up here. Up here, it's not a muscle like your bicep, but it does need to be exercised to create neural pathways that allow you to handle the chaos that will inevitably come up in your relationship. Because when you can stay calm in the situation, your wife will naturally look to you for leadership, and she will stabilize around your stable energy. Okay. But if shit hits the fan and you're a fucking emotional mess, she's going to be like, oh, fuck, who the fuck is taking charge here? Right? Imagine you're on a ship. Imagine you're on a ship and it's getting ready to sink. Okay. And people are panicking. Everyone's losing their shit, right? They're all afraid they're going to die. But the calmest people are directing you to the life rafts and stuff like that. They are going to save more people because they're calmly getting people to handle the situation, right? If those people didn't exist and those people are panicking too, everyone's fucking dying. Everyone's going to fucking die. Okay. You, as the man in the relationship, must be the emotional rock of the relationship. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. That means learning how to identify what's coming up and navigating clearly, even though that's coming up. That takes work. That takes training. That doesn't happen overnight. That takes constant repetition to develop that. Okay. That's why, like, all my books, I recommend you read or listen to them multiple times, because that repetition seeps into your subconscious and creates an identity around this stuff. A lot of my stuff is about creating an identity of a man that handles shit. The identity of a man that always delivers in the bedroom, right? The identity of the guy who sets the tone and leads his relationship. Once you develop that identity, you just operate that way. Okay. But until you do, right, it's going to take work. Repetition is the mother of skill. Okay. By the way, guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Oh, fuck. I don't want that one. This is the one I want. There we go. Links are in the description. Follow me on Substack. Fuck Twitter. Okay. Just want to say that again. Okay. Now here's something that, shout out to Rollo Tomasi. But one thing you have to realize in a long-term relationship is that whoever needs the other the least has all the power in the relationship. That's the cardinal rule of relationships. Okay. The problem is that most of you guys need her more than she needs you, and she fucking knows it, and then she manipulates your ass. Okay. Now that usually comes after, like, through the betatization process, but let's be honest, most of you guys immediately allowed yourself to fall victim to the betatization process, right? Because you didn't even know it was happening. It's not your fault. It's a subconscious process that if you don't know it's happening, you're going to fall victim to it. All right. If you guys are unfamiliar with how that works, I do have a free ebook here. Links in the description for that explains the 5 stages of that. But the second you act like you can't live without her, she starts losing attraction. Okay. It's just how things work. All right. Now, the brother that I mentioned in Wolfpack, who was on the call, who I was like, you're not, I can tell you don't even believe your own shit. Right. He's been having, he joined the pack late last year because his relationship was on fire. Like the house was on fire, and he thought he turned things around. He started doing the work. He went really heavy on the work, did it for about a month, started getting decent results, and then fucking thought he had it already and fucking started coasting. And now he's in a major problem again. Right. And the thing is that his wife knows that he's never going to fucking leave. He's never going to leave. He needs her more than she needs him. She fucking knows it. And she's going to fucking take his ass to the cleaners, and he's going to have to learn the hard way because he doesn't listen to the brothers in the pack. Okay. You have to be the guy that needs her less than she needs you. The only way you can get there is by learning how to be more lovingly detached in the relationship. That means that when I say lovingly detached in a relationship, it means letting go of attachment to outcome. It means you are able to step back from your relationship and look at it like an objective third party. Okay. This is a part of going back to the attraction scale, being able to monitor her attraction to you in the relationship and navigating things. You can only do that if you're not in the weeds with her. Okay. If you're not in the moment, you have to be able to look back and look at things objectively. Once you do that, you can navigate more clearly. And then if she does leave, well, yeah, there's always another woman, right? But the thing is that once you're there, once you're at that place where she could come or she could go and you'll be okay with it, she's more likely to stay because you're not so fucking needy. And she can sense that you're not needy. She's more drawn to that. Okay. It's a frame thing. It's all up here. Okay. Now, a lot of you guys are in relationships that you probably shouldn't be in. If we're being real here, a lot of you are in relationships that you shouldn't be in. Like, it's toxic. There's some shit going on. She's got family issues. She's got drug addiction. She's fucking raging alcoholic, all this kind of stuff, but you're afraid to leave. Now, I'll tell you what, I get it. I get it. When you're married, it's not so easy as just leave her, bro. There's financial consequences. There's opportunity cost loss. You're going to lose half your fucking assets, right? It does make sense for most people to work on that and turn things around. It does make more sense to do that. But there's still certain situations where, bro, you're killing yourself. You're fucking killing yourself. And it's better to, deal with the financial licks that you're going to have to deal with to get out of that situation. so that you can actually live life. Okay. So when to walk away, right? If she stops being affectionate, constantly undermines you, or refuses to follow your direction, she's already told you how she feels. Okay. You're just not accepting it yet. Now, one thing I invite you to do, especially if you're married, right, is to go through, get her to fuck you again, do the workbook. That takes about 3 months. The workbook, it's a daily practice. Okay. After that time, look at, evaluate the situation, right? If after all that work that you've put in on yourself to make yourself more attractive, if she hasn't started turning back around by then, right? And then that's a good time to start really looking at the situation. And then you're going to, you just got there too. You're going to want another at least 3 months to evaluate whether things are going to improve or not. After that 6 months mark, if she's still not affectionate, she's constantly undermining you, refuses to follow your direction, that tells you everything you need to know. It's time. It's time to talk to an attorney if you're married. If you're not married, you're just in a long-term relationship, it's time to leave. Okay. Attraction, that means that her attraction level has fallen below the 5 mark. You're now in point of no return territory. Okay. The strongest negotiating position is the one willing to walk away and mean it. That Michael Yon said that. The strongest negotiating position is being willing to walk away and mean it. That has to be you. Okay. But that also goes back to being the guy who needs the other person the least. And most of you guys aren't there. That takes a lot of work. Okay. But it's so much easier in a long-term relationship where you don't get the government involved to be able to do this. For you guys, if you can't turn your marriages around, right? If you can't do it, don't look at yourself like a failure. Okay. It taught you a lesson, right? Don't get fucking married again. Okay. Like the first time divorces have like a 50% failure rate. Second and third time divorces, they have a much higher failure rate. And there's a reason for that. Usually it's because people didn't do the work on themselves. Right. But so that's why I'm like, do the work on yourself and then evaluate and then leave. But once you leave, don't get the fucking government involved in your relationships again. There's just there's no benefit for men to do that. Zero benefit. Okay. Now, chapter 8 is where the biggest spoiler in the book comes from. Okay. Because the book is called Keep Your Bitch, right? Keep your bitch. And a lot of guys are like, yeah, I want to keep her. I want to keep her around. But you have to understand there's a universal law called Briffault's law. Briffault's law essentially says that the female, not the male, determines whether a relationship will take place at all, depending on what value she gets from the male. Okay. Now, a lot of guys think that means money. That's not necessarily money. That's all sorts of things, right? A lot of it is your dominant masculine presence and leadership. A lot of that's what she needs. A lot of that. Dicking her down right. Dicking her down right is what she needs. Okay. But once you understand that, it's like what the relationship's going to take, it's only going to take place if she wants to be there. That means it's her job to keep you. Your job isn't to keep her. Okay. But if your goal is to be in a successful long-term relationship, your job is to be a man worth keeping. You just being yourself doesn't necessarily make you a man worth keeping. I hate to tell you this. You're not automatically the prize. Okay. Just because you have a penis doesn't make you the prize. You actually have to become the prize and be a man worth keeping. That's your job. And then she's more likely to want to keep you. If you understand how hypergamy works, women they want to consolidate on their best hypergamous option. That has to be you. If you want this relationship to work out, you have to be her best hypergamous option. If you're not, she's going to find it, and it's not going to be with you. She's going to cheat on you or leave. Okay. Keep that in mind, guys. That's all we have for this episode, though. I don't see any chats down there. Tune into the podcast on Wednesday. The rabble-rousing Morgan May is returning to the podcast to talk about the Madonna whore complex that is ruining both your sex life and women's. It's something I go into thoroughly in Dick Her Down Right. And one of my posts about it really caught Morgan's attention, and she practically fucking begged me to come back on the show to talk about it. I love Morgan, though. Morgan's awesome. If you guys don't know who Morgan is, go back through my podcast episodes. Morgan is the only woman that I've had on the podcast more than any other woman, for one. And she's also the number one guest that I've had on more consistently than any other guest. All right. Morgan's fucking awesome. And what I love about Morgan is that one, she's crazy. She's a crazy bitch, man. She's a crazy bitch. But she's a hoot, man. One of the things I love about Morgan is she's not out here grifting dudes. Okay. Because what you'll find is a lot of attractive women will come out and they'll be dating coaches for men. And guys will just throw money at them thinking that, oh, if I impress her, I'll get her, right? I'll get her. And this is like a lot of it's subconscious bullshit too, right? So these women just rake up all the money. Look at Sadia Khan, total fucking fraud, right? She makes tons of money because she's hot and she caters to men. She tells men what they want to hear. It's like red pill talking points coming out of a woman's mouth. Guys will listen to that shit. They won't listen to it coming from a dude's mouth, right? Well, Morgan doesn't do that shit. Morgan talks to women and she's trying to teach women the game from a woman's perspective. And so I love having her on the show because the art of war teaches us to know your enemy, right? So Morgan comes on and talks about the game she's training women to do. And if you understand the game that they're playing, you can better defend against the dark arts. Okay. So Morgan is always a hoot. I love having her on the show. You guys are going to want to tune into that on Wednesday. That's all I got, guys, though. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll see you next time.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.